We're going to talk now about some important vocabulary words that we use for data collection. Remember that data collection is the part of your lab where you write down information. The word data just means info. It's all the things that happened during the lab that are important and you write them down. The word variable means anything that changes. So in a lab, you might be changing the mass, the position, the time. You might be changing the angle. So anything that is changed during the lab is a variable. The word vary literally means to change. On the other hand, constants are the opposite. Constants are things that do not change. It's important that we don't have too many variables because we won't know which variable was responsible for the results. And so there are certain things in the lab that we are careful to keep the same. If you're doing an experiment with batteries, then maybe you want to make sure that you're always putting the battery in the same kind of device. Or maybe you're always using batteries that are the same temperature. So anything that you are purposely keeping the same is a constant. With our variables, there are two important categories. There is the independent variable. Notice it starts with the letter I. The independent variable is the variable that I changed on purpose. So there's usually one variable that we chose in advance and we decided which values we were going to measure. So independent, I changed. I just remember, because it starts with the letter I, it's the one that I changed. The dependent variable is the variable that we watched and measured. We weren't sure what was going to happen. We had to wait and see what was going to happen. So that's your dependent variable. We're going to see that it matters which one is which when we make our data tables and our graphs. And so it's important to identify these correctly. The word quantitative, notice there's a T here. It comes from the word quantity, and it literally means to count. So any variable that you can count or measure with a number, so I'm going to put the symbol here for number, is a quantitative variable. Your age is quantitative. We give it a number. Your height, your weight, these are all quantitative. On the other hand, qualitative, notice the L. Qualitative comes from the word quality. A quality is it just means to describe. Qualitative variables are not given numbers. For example, how soft something is, the color of your eyes. These would be qualitative. We cannot easily give them a number. Scientists use both kinds of variables during labs. However, we prefer quantitative variables because you have to be able to count it if you want to be able to graph it and write a math equation. Because of this, scientists often find ways to take qualitative variables and develop their own numbering system so that we can still convert them to a quantitative value and use math to explore our results.